Thank you very much. Good evening. It's great to be here and share with you just a couple minutes about MIT's MISTI Israel program. The world, a universe of challenges and opportunities that we at MIT are committed to solving in collaboration with you and our partners around the world. In an MIT way, hand in mind, applied science with a commitment for a better world, working together across disciplines in a way that we know works. We also know that all of this, science technology, it's not enough. If we want to solve challenges in energy, water, and education in India, Israel, Jordan, Uganda, and countries around the world, we need to have a deep regional and country understanding of each of these places. A one-size solution just does not fit all. And that's where MISTI comes in. We build in our students outstanding academics, and MISTI gives them a deep global and cultural experience. It gives them the tools to navigate the global workplace, and it gives them the capacity to develop solutions to real-world problems. And through our award-winning 10 to 12-week internship program. 1,250 MIT students took part in these experiences this past year alone. But Israel was the largest of the 46 countries we sent those students to. 113 students. Israel, because MIT and Israel are such an incredible match. Two powerhouses in science, technology, and entrepreneurship. And our students doing internships all around the country, in universities, and labs, and countries. But they're not just doing internships. They're on a 6 to 9 month professional educational journey into understanding what the Startup Nation is all about. So when our students sit in front of an audience like you, in Israel, with the supervisors and peers, and they're not quite as polite as you are, and they cut them off in the middle of a sentence, and don't let them finish the presentation, they know what to do. So our students learn and grow, and they learn in some way what it's like to be an Israeli. And we'll see Simon, our intern, learned to develop the system from scratch. She showed amazing self-learning skills and very high technical capabilities. While presenting great interpersonal skills and relationships, MISTI allows me to realize innovation faster and competitively. In this spirit, I'd like to invite one of our alumni, Rishi Shah.
Thanks for that awesome introduction, David. As was said, my name is Rishi Shah. I did MISTI Israel this past summer. So when I was first asked to speak to you all today, I was honestly a little taken aback. I saw my experience in Israel as something pretty normal. I have seen friends go through it. I've seen a lot of upperclassmen go through it. And MISTI Israel has a really great presence on campus. But then I took a step back. And I realized just how unique a program like MISTI is. Just how amazing the global perspective I gained over the summer was for me and my development as a college student. And that's because MISTI doesn't just send you to another country. They give you the tools and the knowledge with which we can interpret those experiences and bring them back with us and embrace them and the Israeli culture in our everyday lives. So this MISTI, this amazingly profound impact was only possible because of the length of time we spent there and the sheer immersion that we got. And the ability for us to see the absurd diversity within Israel's borders, from the beaches of Tel Aviv to the nightlife in the city that actually never sleeps, to the amazing views of Haifa and the history that is in Jerusalem. I really do miss it every day. But what was probably most impactful was living like an everyday Israeli, going to work, riding the 90 bus up to Herzliya, and just loving and sitting next to everyday Israelis. So this summer I got the awesome opportunity to work at Safety. It's a cybersecurity software business about 5 years into its development. For the first half of my internship there, I worked directly under the chief marketing officer to help him develop a market research presentation on an upcoming product launch that they were doing. And it was an amazing experience for me because having very limited experience in the field, it was a great introduction into cybersecurity as a whole, to see how it works in Israel, how it works in the US, and globally. And that was just a really amazing experience. And for the second half of the internship, I got to apply it. I worked with safety's top software engineer who got all of his expertise from the IDF, of course. He really walked me through step by step the technicalities of their software, of cybersecurity as a whole, of machine learning, and it culminated in a project where I provided proof of concept to safety on how they could implement machine learning algorithms into their product. Now, imagine this scenario. I just finished freshman year of college, no experience at all, and I got to work at a company like Safety, in the hub of cybersecurity in Israel, in the startup nation, as David mentioned, an absolutely mind-blowing experience. But of course, as we all know, collaboration cannot just stop at technical knowledge. It has to expand into cultural understanding and understanding of people. And that's why MISTI sends all of its interns in Israel on a week-long seminar that tours you across the country. But not just the touristy sites. We get experiences like staying a week in a kibbutz in northern Degania, and going to the Golan Heights and looking over the Israeli border into Syria and Lebanon, while they're speaking to UN peacekeepers about their jobs there. Having a mifgash with a parent circle and getting to speak to two parents who have lost children on either side of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And even getting to visit Yad Vashem, or the National Holocaust History Museum, located in Jerusalem. Now, for anyone who has visited or will visit Yad Vashem, it's an unforgettable experience. The moment from the time you walk into the visitor center to the Children's Memorial at the very end, when you look back and realize the amount of tragedy and history you've just passed, it's something that connects you to Israel and is seared into your mind for the rest of your life. But MISTI made it even more impactful. Straight from Yad Vashem, they took us to a talk with Dr. Rachel Korazim, who some of you actually might be familiar with. She's an Israeli history and Holocaust history expert. And what that gave us, it gave us the ideas and the knowledge with which to interpret what we had just seen. So we didn't just go to the museum, we were able to understand it. For example, she explained to us how in 2011, when the museum transferred and was rebuilt from old to new, it wasn't just the rebuilding of a building, it represented a shift in how Israeli culture represents and remembers the Holocaust as a whole. And that's just a small example of how MISTI does things for its interns. It doesn't just send you to a kibbutz for a couple of days. It doesn't just show you Yad Vashem. It gives you the ideas and the tools and the foundation with which we can learn from these experiences. So, going forward, just in the past 4 months that I've been back from Israel, it's had an amazingly impactful experience. Whether it be in my classes and the technical knowledge I gained overseas, and my job search, because it certainly doesn't hurt to have an internship at a cybersecurity company in Israel on the job application. And on top of all of it, the amazing meritocratic and just vibrant workplace environment that you experience in Israel is something that I've tried to embrace personally in my everyday life. And looking 2-3 years in the future when I graduate from college and join the Army as an officer, what experience am I going to look back from college? I'm sure my PSETs and my classes will help me down the line somewhere, but I'm going to remember this. I'm going to remember going to Israel. I'm going to remember going to the Golan Heights, speaking to parents who have lost children in wars. That's what I'm going to remember. That's what's going to be impactful. So you've seen this impact on my life. Now compound that amongst the 1,250 students that did MISTI just this past year. Imagine the global impact that a program like MISTI can have by giving young adults and college students like me a global perspective. It's amazing. So in the next 5, 6, 7 years, when the next batch of MISTI interns comes back from Israel and Jordan and Korea and South Africa, hopefully they won't be asked to speak at conferences like these. Because hopefully it will be normal. Because hopefully gaining that global perspective and being introduced to a slew of collaborative ideas will be normal. Hopefully it will be normal for college students like me to be able to join the world. Thank you very much.